Hi, I'm Blessing from New Zealand, and I have a skin disease called vitiligo. But that didn't stop me from getting revenge on all the good-for-nothing jerks in my life. When I was 5 years old, I spent all day making a beautiful Mother's Day card for my stepmom.
Look what I got you, Mommy.
That is the ugliest thing I've ever seen. And how many times have I told you not to call me that? I'm not your mommy. Your mom is dead.
And with that, she tore it into two.
But I made that especially for you.
Who asked you to? Not me. Why would I want someone like you to love me, stupid girl?
I ran to my room and jumped onto my bed, crying myself to sleep. I couldn't understand why I was born with this disease. I just wanted to be normal. Dad was only 17 when he had me, and he never even got a proper degree. The solution he found for his problems was marrying my evil stepmother, who was 15 years older than him, but very rich. It made things worse for me, though, because she was a massive pain in the butt. When I was 6, I found out that I was high-key a genius. One day, the teacher asked us all to memorize some nursery poems about winter and recite them in class. I snuck into my stepmom's library at night and took my favorite book off the shelf. I memorized Shakespeare's Winter by heart. When it was my turn to read out loud, the teacher looked stunned. I was asked to take a series of tests the next day, after which she called my parents and told them I was a genius with an IQ of 180.
Oh, wow. I guess that explains why she's so ugly.
Here's a brochure for this amazing school for gifted kids.
God, that looks expensive. No, we can't send her there. It's bad enough that we'll have to spend a fortune on beauty products to cover up her skin.
I hoped Dad would say something, but he was just quiet as usual. He mostly just did whatever she said because, well, he was living on her money. I thought I would always be miserable between my annoying parents, but one lucky day, I stumbled on an amazing secret, and it was the happiest day of my life. You see, I found out by accident that Dad had a girlfriend. That day, I understood that stepmom was probably horrible to me because of her own insecurities. She was just a loser who was getting cheated on, and I would never let her words or actions affect me again. A few days later at dinner, Dad left the table when his phone started ringing. I instantly guessed it might be Dad's girlfriend, and before stepmom could pick up the phone, I ran off with it. She started chasing me around the lounge and caught me by the shirt. I didn't know what to do, so I flung the phone at the wall, smashing it to bits. Just then, Dad walked in.
What's going on? And who broke my phone?
Daddy, I can explain.
And with that, I jumped onto the sofa and whispered in his ear that his girlfriend was calling, and I'd stopped stepmom from answering it. He immediately gave me a big hug. Stepmom screamed in rage and stormed out of the room. While things were looking up at home, they were just getting worse at school. My condition made kids look at me like I was an alien, and it just seemed to annoy everyone I was smarter than them, especially that horrible Luna. She was 2 years older than everyone else because she was really dumb and had been held back twice. She never missed a chance to make fun of me. In the 5th grade, I entered an international physics competition and had the highest score among 500 participants from around the world. You've made us all so proud, Blessing.
You don't speak for us, miss, because we're all pretty ashamed to have her here. She should be in some school for freaks.
Luna, that's a terrible thing to say. Apologize right now.
Okay. Sorry, Blessing.
Not Blessing. And then she knocked over all my books and started stomping on them. The teacher yelled at her and immediately dragged her off to the principal. She just kept being a jerk, so I knew I had to find a way to deal with her. One day, I found it. We were in the 7th grade celebrating Cultural Day when she came up to me and said, "And what are you supposed to be? White? Black? A Dalmatian? A panda? What are you?" "I'm a human being, unlike you, you monster." "Oh. Since when did you become so brave?" "Since the day I saw you cheating on your boyfriend with 2 boys. "What? I don't know what you're talking about, idiot. I saw you behind that tree, Luna. So you better leave me alone or I'll tell everyone about this. And who do you think they'll believe? Me or a weirdo like you?" "I'm pretty sure they'll believe me." And with that, I played a video of her I'd made on my phone, and from that day on, she didn't mess with me anymore. I could finally focus on my studies in peace. Boy, was I wrong. Things were getting much worse at home. Dad had started coming home really late every night, and I could tell stepmom was getting suspicious. One night, I woke up with a start when I heard loud screaming.
How could you cheat on me? You don't think I have feelings?
Ugh, give me a break. It's not like I'm ashamed of having a hot, young girlfriend. Just look at her. She's running for the Miss World contest next year. Really, you can't blame me for cheating on you. Have you looked in the mirror lately?
That's it. You two-timing, gold-digging jerk. Get out of my house, now.
I quickly ran back and jumped into bed, feeling sure Dad would come any minute and tell me to pack my bags. But 5 minutes later, I heard the front door slam shut and saw him leaving. I was certain stepmom would throw me out on the street, but to my surprise, she didn't. I kept thinking she'd take out all her anger on me, but she just started ignoring me, and I didn't mind that at all. For the next few years, everyone just let me be. Until one day in 9th grade, I was shocked when the cutest guy on earth, Ronald, came and sat next to me at lunch.
Hey, would you be interested in tutoring a dumb kid like me?
I was more than happy to. So I said yes. We started our sessions the next day, and Ronald turned out to be the sweetest guy. He never brought up my condition and treated me like a gentleman. One day, he suddenly took my hand and looked deep into my eyes.
Blessing, I don't know why people say these terrible things about you. You have to know, you're the most beautiful girl I've ever met, inside and out.
He held my chin, pulled my face close to his, and kissed my neck. Just as he kissed me on the lips, I heard that ugly Luna.
Weren't you gay?
Who?
Ronald, you said you were gay when I asked you out. And look at you now, kissing this ugly creature.
Don't call her that.
It's okay, babe. I'm used to her nasty words. Let her burn in her jealousy. And with that, I took his hand and started walking, making sure to push Luna as I left.
I'll make sure you regret this.
That evening, I snuck Ronald in through my bedroom window to spend the night with me. Just as we'd snuggled on the couch, the door flung open and stepmom barged in, looking insane with fury.
Oh no, you can't see a man when I can't.
You can't do that just because your husband left you. She grabbed Ronald by his t-shirt, practically spitting in his face.
And why are you with a freak like her? Do you have some kind of condition too? Couldn't find any other girl, huh?
She's a great girl, and I like her so much.
Oh yeah? Prove it. Kiss her foot right now, and I'll leave you alone for good.
Back off, lady. Sorry, but I can't be a part of this drama. I'm out of here.
And with that, he left looking angry and embarrassed. Stepmom gave me an evil smile as she walked out, and I screamed as I slammed the door hard behind her. That witch! Ronald didn't turn up for our tutoring session the next day, and when I saw him around campus, he completely avoided eye contact with me. I decided to give him some space. Luna looked extra happy these days, and I knew it was because she could see Ronald and I weren't together anymore. One day, I spotted them by the lockers, and the minute she saw me, she started touching and hugging him. And even worse, he didn't seem to mind at all. I couldn't believe he'd do this to me. I went home in tears, only to hear a familiar voice as soon as I entered. It was Dad. I knew the only reason she'd call him back was because she was jealous that I had a man and she didn't. She was just that petty. The next day when I went to school, I was determined to punch both Ronald and Luna the moment I saw them. But as I was walking down the hall, someone suddenly pulled me by the arm and into the janitor's closet. It was Ronald. You horrible...
Listen, I love you, okay? I thought maybe this relationship wouldn't work, but I haven't been able to stop thinking about you. Luna's been all over me, but she is not who I want to be with. Please, give me another chance.
He looked and sounded really sincere. So I decided to forgive him, and then he started kissing me gently on my neck. Oh, I missed him so much. We started dating secretly at first, but then I decided I didn't want to hide it anymore. Ronald, I'm strong and smart, and if you're ashamed of being with me, then I don't care to be with you. So you have to make a choice and decide what's more important, being in this relationship with me publicly or your reputation. The next day when I walked into school, Ronald came over to me and immediately took my hand. My heart soared with joy, and then I spotted Luna down the corridor staring right at us. I was expecting her to throw some horrible tantrum as she walked over to us, but what she said left me in shock. Congratulations, you two. I'm so happy for you. And Blessing, I'm really sorry for the way I treated you before. She squeezed my arm gently and walked away. This girl was definitely up to no good. One day when Ronald and I were hanging out in my room, we suddenly heard loud screams from downstairs.
You're cheating on me again with a teenager?
Yeah, but she behaves like an adult. She's a lot more mature than you are.
I expected stepmom to throw him out again, but she didn't. She simply walked to her room, packed her bags, and left. And that's the last time I ever saw her. The next day at lunch, Luna suddenly stopped by our table and said, "Hey, I just wanted to say that I've finally come to accept your condition and I'm not ashamed of you anymore."
Excuse me?
Yeah, I told your dad, I really want to be a good stepmom to you. I sat there with my mouth open as she walked away. The 18-year-old dad was dating was Luna? I ran home to confront Dad with Ronald right behind me. Have you completely lost it, Dad?
Oh, don't be like your stepmom. Luna's older than you, and I'm still pretty young, so why not?
Why are you the most selfish, useless dad in the whole world? You've never had a proper job. You've never stood up for me. And now you're just chasing one bimbo after another?
I just got you an amazing new stepmom who accepts your condition. And you live in this house because of all the hard work I've done. You think putting up with that old witch was easy for me?
Seemed fine to me. You just used her for her money and left her to treat me like dirt. Gosh, I really hate you. Of course, Luna was nothing more than a gold digger and was just getting Dad to buy her expensive stuff all the time. One time, when we were watching a movie, she just squeezed in between us and started touching Ronald. I slapped her. He deserves a real woman in his life.
And you deserve to get your butt kicked right now.
I want him, and I'm taking him from you.
We'll see about that.
And then I pulled Ronald and kissed his face off. She stormed out of the room angrily. I just did my best to ignore everything and focus on my studies. I needed a scholarship to go to college and leave this madhouse for good. The day that I was leaving, Dad came to see me off at the door, his eyes swollen.
I found out last night that she's been cheating on me. Maybe you shouldn't go. Blessing, I don't want to be alone.
Dad, you have to start acting like an adult already. And if you really care about her, you should try and win her back. You have to put up a fight for people you love. I still have to go, though. Good luck. Ronald and I moved away to the same college, and 4 years later, I was asked to give a speech at graduation. I spoke about my condition and how I'd never let it stop me from achieving my goals. The speech went viral, and since then, I've become a spokesperson for people suffering from vitiligo and other skin conditions. I've even been offered modeling contracts. Ronald and I have a beautiful baby girl now, and I will make sure she always knows she is perfect, just the way she is.